hello, and ho, 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 and welcome to your favorite bad movie podcast as our holiday film festival of employee picks continues. We're your ho, ho hosts. My name is Chris Anderson, and with me, as always, I have the Bobby to my Chuck. It's Mr. Greg
Yes.
Bossy.
Yes. Glad to be Bobby. I didn't know who I was going to be, but I was so excited. Chris, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you too. Boy, and I forgot that I was also going to make our next host the Bobby to my Chuck. It's my wonderful wife,
I think it works.
Anna Anderson. Yeah,
They're
really
really
shows-
an iconic duo. Honestly, I'm glad that I watched Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein for the first time before
Ooh.
this movie, because they're very much doing a spin on
How
that duo in
interesting.
this movie, I think.
How
It's interesting that you say that. That's going to come up later. But our movie this week is obviously Ernest Saves Christmas. And listeners, if you haven't seen Ernest Saves Christmas, here's just a quick summary of the film to hold in your mind. It might not surprise you. Santa Claus is hoping to retire, but first he must find his replacement. In order to do so, he'll need the help of his very special new friend, Ernest P. Worrell. Know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I do.
I can't believe I just called him Enos.
I love the Enos Saves Christmas.
That would have been an amazing choice, Greg, but instead you chose Ernest Saves Christmas, our
I sure
second
did.
saving of Christmas.
That's right. Christmas really needs it this year.
You said a mouthful. What made Ernest Saves Christmas your pick?
Okay, so if you recall, I was a little torn between Jingle All the Way and Ernest Saves Christmas. And the reason why these two kind of go together hand in hand for me, because in my household, I'll explain this kind of all together. In my household, it was a very religious and kind of conservative household. And so when I was younger and people would bring media into the house for me, like when you're 7, be like, I rented you a movie or whatever. Like, they were picking a lot of very family friendly, very nice comedians and things like that. My family loved like the SNL people, and that was like if you were watching with a parent and they could cover your eyes or your ears at some point. But if like you were just going to be watching yourself, or maybe they weren't going to be paying a lot of attention, I was most likely going to get something by Ernest or something by Sinbad. And so those two are like the family friendly comedians that were go-tos in my house, which is why both of these were kind of in the mix. And I really loved Arnold Schwarzenegger as a comedian. So both Jingle All the Way and Batman and Robin, those were like the first two movies that I saw on my own opening night. And those are two crazy choices.
Yes.
But Jingle All the Way is kind of a classic. And I feel like a lot of people have talked about it. And I saw that one about 10 or 15 years ago. It's still very good, as I recall, like still worth seeing. But I hadn't seen Ernest Saves Christmas in, I don't remember the last time. I may have been like 12 or something. And so I know a lot of people have come on the show and were like, I haven't watched this in 20 years. I just wanted to check it out again. And I was like, you know what? I kind of want to do that this time. I know what Jingle All the Way is going to be. I kind of can't fully remember what Ernest Saves Christmas is going to be. And so that one's just got my curiosity just that much more.
Fair enough. Anna, had you seen this one before, or did you have a relationship with Ernest at all?
Yeah, I'm curious what the two of your relationship with Ernest is. Very curious.
No, I was not acquainted with Ernest oeuvre growing up. And I would say that's because my parents don't like stupid comedy. Like they're like they've softened as they've aged, as they have on like everything. But like I remember like, Ernest and the Three Stooges, and just, that was just kind of kind of too lowbrow. They were, if you were going to do zany physical comedy, it was going to be Faulty Towers,
Okay.
so there were English accents involved. So I had not seen this one. I did watch Ernest Scared Stupid, I think with a Discord group, a couple of years ago.
What did you think of that one?
Oh, that was delightful.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I love this one too. My entire
Yeah.
Letterboxd review was perfect film. And I
Okay.
truly believe that.
Nice.
Well, I did not grow up with Ernest. I mean, I knew who he was, obviously.
Yeah.
But, from his appearances in commercials, or like he'd show up at like the MTV Movie Awards or some shit. And but I'd never seen any Ernest films until this week. In the last week, I watched 8 Ernest movies.
Jesus. You may have now seen more than me, but I thought I was definitely going to be the one who's seen the most of them. Did you manage to see the show at all? The TV show?
No, I didn't watch the TV show. It's all on YouTube.
Okay, I'm going to have to watch that because I definitely watched that as a child. I'm pretty sure I've seen all the episodes already.
Here are the ones that I watched. I watched Hey Vern, It's My Family Tree.
Okay,
which
that was really early, right?
Yeah, that was his first video.
Okay.
And then I watched the Ernest Film Festival, which is a collection of early Ernest commercials.
Oh.
That's actually surprisingly fun.
Interesting.
Then Goes to Camp.
Yep.
Saves Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Goes to Jail.
Goes to Jail is a classic.
Yeah. Scared Stupid.
Yep.
And Rides Again.
Yeah. Those are good
and
ones.
Goes to School.
Okay.
I could see the cracks starting to show by Rides Again.
Yeah,
that's
so
when it started going downhill.
Rides Again is where I sort of stopped. I was looking through them and I watched trailers. I knew I hadn't seen the first 2 you talked about, but I'd seen all of them through Rides Again, and I watched trailers for the remaining ones. I think I've seen Slam Dunk Ernest, but not Goes to School, In the Military, or The Unfortunate Ernest Goes to Africa.
Yeah.
Oofa doofa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on the Plex, but I think I'm probably going to skip it.
Yeah, I think that's smart. Based on the trailer, I would say it's definitely very smart, actually.
Yeah, I don't want to remember Ernest that way. It's a shame his last film was Ernest Goes to Africa.
Yeah.
Oof. Well, do you guys want to talk about the research that I put into Ernest Saves Christmas?
Yes, very much.
Yeah.
All right. So, Ernest Saves Christmas came out November 11th, 1988. It was directed by John R. Cherry III.
Who basically just did Ernest movies, right?
Yes, he did all but one of the Ernest movies.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Taglines, we got 2 of them. Number 1, a holiday comedy unlike any other.
Sure.
This is the only one that has Ernest in it.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the most notable difference, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one, though. You can't discount.
It's a significant difference.
There should be another one that has Ernest as a minor character, but they never worked it out. Number 2, he's back, and this time, ... Ernest Saves Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Both of them, they're both functional, but I feel like they're not quite getting to the heart of the matter.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the title really says it all. You don't particularly need a tagline.
Yeah. I mean, it's also, I imagine that anybody who saw that was not just like, who's this Ernest? You know what I mean?
No.
Like, you either were
Right.
just like, we got to see that, or like, oh, another one of those. You know, those are probably your reactions to that if you're seeing the movie poster in the theater.
So John R. Cherry III was an ad man living in Nashville, Tennessee in 1980 when he landed an account with Beach Bend Park, an amusement park in Kentucky. Now, Beach Bend Park was planning to have a promotional appearance by the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, and they wanted to advertise it. So his concept was simple: have a goofy Southern guy tell his neighbor what was happening. Because an amusement park with the Dallas Cowgirls kind of sells itself. You don't need to make anything
Right.
that complicated. The neighbor, Vernon, would be played by the camera, allowing the goofy Southerner to address the audience directly. That goofy neighbor was, of course, Ernest P. Worrell, played by Jim Varney. I tried to find this original Ernest commercial. I couldn't. It might be out there somewhere.
Man, that's crazy, though. That's great.
It makes so much sense that not that the camera POV isn't cinematic, but it makes sense that in this case it comes from advertising, because that's I think fourth wall breaking like that is the most common is most commonly experienced by most people in advertising.
Yeah.
Yes?
I'm not
Yeah.
a doctor, but I
Yes.
play one on TV. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, someone coming out and giving you a testimonial.
Mm-hmm.
So Jim Varney grew up in Kentucky. And at this point, he was already a professional actor, playing small roles on TV as a guest star here and there, or a part of comedic ensembles on shows like Johnny Cash and Friends, or in Pink Lady and Jeff, which was a variety show hosted by a Japanese pop duo and an American comedian. It's very strange.
That's interesting.
Huh.
There was a DVD put out of it at one point. I watched a couple of episodes. Pink Lady were great. They were a great pop duo.
Yeah, it's cool.
And he also acted in professional theater in sort of the Nashville, Tennessee area. Now, the Beach Bend Park campaign was a big hit. And it led him to appear in dozens of commercials, sort of Shack style, just for like lots of different products. They were just like, yeah,
Nice.
we can put Ernest in your commercial. Now, mostly they were local auto dealerships. But I did, in the Ernest Film Festival, this is a great way to sample this material, and it really shows why it works and why he caught on as a character. It just
Interesting.
lets Jim Varney like step in front of a camera, do a little gag using like his talent and training as like a professional comedic actor. Like I think he studied like Shakespearean comedy. Like he has that sort of precise physicality to himself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and the theater background makes sense too, like that stage physicality and I'm making the gesture because I can't think of the words. Facial expressions.
Yes.
That's what they are.
But he did ads for Sprite and Mellow Yellow and like a wide variety of local dairies. He
made Wichita Connection. He made ads for Brahms, which is like an ice cream and also burger joint headquartered in Oklahoma. That is dear to me because through elementary school, my mom would take me and then, my sister and brother as we grew up to Brahms on the first and last day of school every year.
Nice.
Like back from the days when I was little, I think that those were probably like we could only afford to do that like twice a year. And as time went on, that was less of a big deal, but it was always a treat.
Oh, yes.
Well, Varney would record dozens of local auto dealership spots in a single day using the same script but with different details. Instead of being like, head on down to Johnson's Ford, head on down to Samuel's Honda. He would just do that over and over. So in 1985, Cherry and Varney teamed up for Hey Vern, It's My Family album, the first standalone Ernest product. It was a series of sketches where Ernest was telling Vern about his assorted ancestors, and then he would play the ancestor. It was released direct to VHS. It was less than an hour long, and yeah, was mostly just sort of a sketch comedy special. They then teamed up for this was very similar to what they did for their TV show Hey Vern, it's the Ernest TV series. It's Hey Vern, it's Ernest. And this won Varney a Daytime Emmy in 1988.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. In 1987, Ernest made the leap to the big screen with Ernest Goes to Camp, also directed by John R. Cherry III, who, like we said, directed every Ernest movie except for Goes to School.
I have a very distinct memory of going to see that in the theater and my dad being like, "We'll take 5 for Ernest Goes to Camp." You know what I mean? And my sister was like, "Don't do that." And it was just like, this is great. I love every moment of what's happening.
I wonder how many times the
So many, I'm sure.
heard that.
So many.
And so they must have been going there on the back of his popularity as an advertising character. If you're going to Goes to Camp.
Yeah.
And the only other advertising character I can think of that made the leap to the big screen was Johnny English, the whatchamacallit, Rowan Atkinson character. He was originally an Amex commercial character.
Oh, that's interesting. Somebody get a movie for the Jolly Green Giant.
Yeah.
Oh my
I'm
God.
sure
I'm
there
in the
are
seat.
more, but they're not in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, probably like technically Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
Anyway, Goes to Camp was a massive hit. It made $23.5 million at the box office. I'm guessing at least 20 of that coming from Greg's family's pocket.
Yeah.
And it only had a $3.5 million budget. So massive return on investment.
Right.
Varney did get a Razzie nomination for Worst New Star. Once again, fuck you, the Razzies.
Yeah.
He lost to David Mendenhall as Michael Hawke in Over the Top. They really didn't like Over the Top.
I haven't seen Over the Top. I know the move. I was taught the move by
the hat around?
Joey Trinilla in my freshman dorm.
It really makes you feel powerful, like a truck.
It does. It does. No, it was sophomore year because it was before I was in the ladies arm wrestling contest.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Which, I beat a tutor. You would call them professors at other colleges.
Interesting. Interesting.
Anyway, Over the Top, obviously directed by Menachem Golan. Check out our episode about Menachem Golan's The Apple. So production started on a sequel to Ernest Goes to Camp pretty quickly. It was shot mostly in Orlando on the still being built Disney MGM studios and locations of the greater Orlando area. This time it had a budget of $6.5 million and opened at number 2 at the box office behind Child's Play.
Wow.
And went on to pull down $28.2 million. This was the biggest of any Ernest film.
Wow.
So, a success.
Yeah.
And it's understandable why. It feels sort of like the platonic ideal of an Ernest movie to me, having watched all of these.
I was just say, watching it, I was just like, this feels like just the perfect mix of earnest and plot. And it's not too goofy, but it's not too serious. But it also has some, some nice kind of schmaltzy, fun family niceness to it in a way that doesn't,
Yeah, it still delivers on being a Christmas movie and
yes,
an Ernest
exactly,
movie.
exactly.
It serves both masters. Other Christmas movies of 1988. You got Bill Murray in Scrooged.
Ooh.
I've always liked Scrooged.
I like Scrooged.
I don't think I've seen it.
Oh, it's fun. Bill
worth
Murray is
checking out.
Scrooge. You got what's her face from Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark in there? Karen Allen? Karen Allen's in it?
Oh.
You got A Very Brady Christmas.
Okay.
You got the Pee-wee's Playhouse Christmas special. And watching these Ernest movies, Ernest mostly reminded me of a Southern Fried Pee-wee.
That would make sense.
And I never watched Pee-wee as a child because the puppets freaked me out.
That's understandable.
Yeah. You got something called The Christmas Wife.
All right.
And a lot of people would say this should count, so I'm putting on the list. You got Die Hard.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure, why not?
As soon as you said that, I was like, yeah, this is probably Die Hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's 1988.
Mhm.
I don't want anybody... Listen, if you want to get in the comments and say, oh, hey, Die Hard is a Christmas movie, that's fine. We'll take the engagement.
And Trancers was a Christmas movie.
Yes, Trancers, because Jack Death learned the true meaning of Christmas. Do you guys want to talk about the plot of Ernest Saves Christmas?
Oh, hell yeah,
Yes.
I do.
All right, let's hit it.
Plot bumper, listen to me. I'm gonna give you the plot summary. Come on, baby, here's the synopsis. Plot bumper, plot bumper.
So we open on Norman Rockwell paintings of Santa Claus, and for some reason, 2 Christmas carols back to back. I'll be playing one of them as our closing credits.
Nice.
Because that's really the only music in the entire film. We cut to an airport. A plane is landing, and it's December 23rd, and we're in Orlando. And we see Santa Claus, played by Douglas Seal. Do you guys know where else you might have seen Douglas Seal? Or should I say heard Douglas Seal?
Ooh. No.
He was the voice of the Sultan in Aladdin.
Oh.
That's not going to come out simultaneous because of recording.
Don't
all
worry,
that.
I'm
Yeah.
going to edit it so it does.
Yeah.
The magic of podcasting. And I thought he was great in this, other than the fact that he wasn't fat and he never said ho, ho, ho. I thought he was a great Santa Claus.
I think he did a very good job with it. And I loved his attitude in this opening section where he's like, oh, where are you from? He's like, well, I'm up north. It's just like he's very like this kind of naive Santa, just like, yeah, I'm from the North Pole. I'm Santa Claus. Was that weird? People are like,
yeah, he's a real fish out of water in this movie.
Yeah,
That really
yeah.
works.
Yes.
And he's wearing like a 3-piece brown suit with a red pocket square. So he's sort of like Santa closet cosplay kind of situation.
Mhm.
He's
He
like
looks
Santa moding.
fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great looking suit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now he talks to a Canadian businessman, slowly revealing like, "Oh yes, I am Santa Claus," and the Canadian businessman's like, "Get a load of this guy." And then we cut to a cab number 69, and it's being driven by Ernest P. Worrell. Hell yes.
Yes.
And he's driving like a maniac to drop somebody off at the airport, and his passenger is very frightened, and we get a great comedic car chase sequence.
And he's singing "Oh Christmas Tree," but with just those words. It's beautiful.
Yeah. God, that's what I should have gotten for the closing credits. And then, he drops off his passenger and he gets chased through the airport by some angry tourists that he almost ran over. And then he picks up Santa Claus. Santa wants to go to the Orlando Children's Museum. This is another one of these children's movies. This happens almost any time when we're doing a children's movie where it's only 90 minutes, but it's so plot forward that it's surprisingly long to sum up.
And the way this one is constructed is a little unlike most other things, because I feel like it's like when you have 3 side dishes as a meal and you're just like a taste of this one, and then a taste of that one, and then a taste of this one, and then back to the first one, and then to the second, and then to the third, and it's just doing that the whole time.
Now I want to order appetizers for dinner.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later, sweetie.
It's interesting, I think, actually, now that you put it that way, because people complain about children's attention spans, and they've been complaining about children's short attention spans since we were kids, but I think that maybe children might just have short attention spans because they're children.
That might be true.
Entirely possible. As someone who has spent very little time with children, I can't say.
Very well could be true.
Back at the airport, we meet Chuck and Bobby, a classic comedy duo who will pop up in a couple of other Ernest films. Goes to School only had Bobby, but both of them were in Goes to Jail. They had a Chuck and Bobby type in Scared Stupid, or they might have both been in Scared Stupid.
I think they are. I feel like they're staples throughout most of the movies, as I recall.
Yeah.
At least that's what it felt like. Had you seen them before did you know about Chuck and Bobby when you guys came into this? Because I feel like they're there and it's just kind of accepted that that we're going to be seeing Chuck and Bobby and they're not going to explain them. But in this one, it's just kind of like, who are these 2 guards? They're kind of funny, but I don't know if you necessarily realize that they're main characters, quote unquote.
No, but obviously the way that they're sort of shot and the amount of time that we spend with them in that first scene does set them up as being like, okay, this is going to be sort of a B plot that will tie back in at some point or another.
Yeah.
But also on the subject of Chuck and Bobby, one of the few films that John Cherry directed that wasn't an Ernest movie, possibly the only one. There might have been another one. But he tried to reboot Abbott and Costello with the actor that plays Chuck in the Costello role and Bronson Pinchot in the Abbott role.
What?
Oh! Well, okay, so my instincts were right on then.
Yes. You can definitely see the DNA of Abbott and Costello in Chuck and Bobby. And I am curious about that movie. I forgot what it was called. Hang on, I'm going to look it up really quick.
I really want to.
Probably Abbott and Costello something.
I think it's like The New Adventures of Abbott and Costello or something like that. The All New Adventures. Oh no, not Abbott and Costello. The All New Adventures of Laurel and Hardy in For Love or
Mummy. Okay.
I don't know those gentlemen.
I feel like they're relatively similar.
I think there's a reason why I thought Laurel and Hardy were Abbott and Costello.
Yeah. Yep.
But I don't want to, I'm sure that there are distinct differences in their...
you don't want to be reductive, no.
Their, Manzai would be the Japanese equivalent.
Yeah, possibly. So, en route to the Children's Museum, Santa introduces himself to Ernest. Ernest, at this point, doesn't actually think that he is Santa Claus, but he does explain that he's a big Christmas fan. He's like, oh, well, that's cool. Your name's just Santa Claus, huh? And you look like it. That's crazy. While they're driving through Orlando, a teen girl named...
really are the opposite of Santa Claus and the boy whose name I've already forgotten from The Boy Who Saved Christmas.
My number one email pal.
Yes. Number one email pal.
So while they're driving through Orlando, a teen girl named Harmony Starr hops in the cab while escaping from a dine-and-ditch situation. Santa Claus doesn't seem to judge, perhaps because St. Nicholas is the patron saint of thieves. Little known fact.
Interesting.
So Ernest drops Santa off at the museum. Santa doesn't have cab fare, but Ernest's like, "Hey, it's Christmas, buddy. You have a good one."
Can I say I did look up what $32.50 in $1988 is today, and it is about $85. So Ernest really was like letting him off.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a big heart, that Ernest.
He sure does.
So Santa goes inside the Children's Museum, past a museum curator who's like a little old lady, to go find storytelling volunteer Joe, who has recently been laid off from his job as the host of a kids show. Now, before Santa can tell Joe that he wants him to become the new Santa Claus and take his place, he's interrupted by Joe's agent, Marty Brock, who rolled up driving a Mercedes with a license plate Big Time, if I remember right.
Big deals.
Big deals. Yeah.
Yeah. Marty's a real piece of shit.
He sure is.
Immediately reads as real piece of shit.
Yeah, he communicates that. I wish Marty had been a little funnier. I feel like Marty was a weak link.
Yeah.
Just a missed opportunity, but no real problems with Marty there. Marty has landed Joe an audition for a movie called Christmas Sleigh, which means Joe doesn't really have time to talk to Santa. He sort of gives Santa the brush off. And as if that weren't enough, Santa realizes that he left his magic sack of presents in Ernest's cab. This is why he needs to retire. He's getting forgetful in his old age.
Yeah.
That was kind of heartbreaking. Like, that was kind of real, honestly, that Santa was like, I'm legitimately getting too old for this. I can't remember. I can't do my job that well anymore.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah, it was rough to have to struggle with Santa's mortality. That was a surprisingly hard thing in this film.
Yeah, it's not what you'd expect.
No. But it's just a little, sprinkling of it in there. Just a gentle tugging at the heartstrings to give it some weight.
Right.
But back at the cab depot, Ernest gets fired for not getting Santa's fare. Showing up short $80, your boss is going to get pissed off. Understandable.
Right.
But Ernest's boss does toss the sack out to him. Ernest doesn't dwell on this. Instead, he grabs Harmony, who's still hanging out because she seems to be a team runaway with not much else to do. And they're going to deliver a Christmas tree that Ernest found to his neighbor, Vern.
Yeah.
And finally, we get some Vern on screen. All of these, he goes to Vern's house and it's all shot POV, classic Ernest and Vern style. And obviously instantly starts creating chaos in Vern's clean, beautiful house.
It's all set up for a party.
Yeah. He's messing up the party. He starts ripping the wiring out of the wall while Harmony starts dumping hors d'oeuvres into her purse.
I also really like that when he knocks on the door, he's like, "It's me, Vern," and then Vern immediately closes the door, because I feel like that's more of an admission of what Vern's relationship is to Ernest than I've ever really experienced before or recall experiencing.
Yeah, you could see a little bit of Vern's annoyance in the commercials.
Okay.
I think most of the films don't actually include Vern for some reason.
Right.
He's almost entirely from the commercials. So it's nice to add a little bit to the Vern canon here. Now, meanwhile, Marty convinces Joe to let him give Santa the brush off. So Joe heads home and Marty calls the cops on Santa Claus. And the cops take Santa Claus in, presumably for vagrancy. They take him in for booking, and his fingerprints are snowflakes.
That's a great touch. I also like that they're calling him Santos, because my name's Santa. What's that, Santos? Because also I believe that means saint in Spanish, so it actually works pretty well.
Yeah, I did really like it when Marty leaned over to the cops and it's like, his name is Santos. So Joe goes on auditions for the movie with a couple of kids, and it goes great because he has great chemistry with these kids.
Yeah. I I didn't write down the name of the actor playing Joe.
Oliver Clark.
Okay, Oliver Clark. I wanted to mention him mostly in the context that if they made a movie like this today, Santa would be a hunk, or at least Santa would be like in his 40s tops
Right.
and good looking. And
Yeah.
Oliver Clark is like a schlubby man in his 50s, and I really, really love that about him. I love him
Yeah.
in this role.
Yeah.
It was weird for me at first when they were like, he's a children's entertainer who recently got fired for no apparent reason. And I was like, what did he do?
Right.
What did he do?
Right.
Well,
Like, I kept on expecting there to be a twist in the tale with Joe, but he was just like, no, I'm just a good guy who's an actor who likes kids.
Mhm.
Like, oh, okay. So after getting kicked out by Vern, Ernest decides to check out the sack that Santa left in his cab. Because he's like, oh, maybe I'll find out, like, where he is. It'll have, like, a contact information inside. Something like that.
right.
So
Maybe it'll just
he
have
opened-
a
tag.
luggage tag.
Yeah. So he opens it up, and then light starts pouring out. And he realizes this must be Santa's actual magic sack, and that means that guy was actually Santa Claus. And he's so psyched.
What's also weird though is it's like children's laughter also comes out of it, which was a little creepy. It was like, I was like, oh, I do not want to open up a bag and hear like echoey children's laughter coming out of it. I'm going to immediately cinch that tight.
Yeah, understandable. So Ernest and Harmony, they drive to the museum to look for Santa, but the museum is closed by the time they get there. Harmony is still expressing some skepticism, but then Ernest starts producing morphological glowing orbs from the sack that transmogrify themselves into assorted presents, but none of the presents are good. So she's like, this is stupid. That's not Santa Claus's sack.
It's a weird moment to just see him produce this glowing ball of light, and then poof, it's like a shitty horse. That's just like, what are we doing here? Ernest Saves Christmas.
It's really strange.
It's metaphysical, which is not what I was expecting.
So meanwhile, Santa gets processed and put into Gen Pop in the jail, but he quickly makes friends because everybody loves Santa Claus.
I love that that's the result of it. I'm so happy that it's not just like this comedic thing where they're tough. It's just everyone's just like, we fucking love this guy. He's so cool. It's like, yeah.
No one's going to meet a nice old man like Santa Claus. Now, the next day, it's Christmas Eve. Ernest and Harmony head back to the museum where the curator tells them that Santa Claus is in the pokey. Ernest says, Santa Claus got busted, which is great
such a
stuff.
good line.
Yeah. So they go to the jail disguised as a governor's aide and the governor's niece. And they use that to sneak in and get Santa out of jail by claiming that he's clearly dangerously insane. And you get to see Ernest in character. He puts on a couple characters in the course of this movie. And that's always great stuff. And it's great that they took the time to justify it. In Scared Stupid, he just sort of does like a Bugs Bunny thing where he's just suddenly a different character. And I don't think it's as good as this.
I think that was, I mean, you watched them all. I feel like that was just kind of common where it's just like, we're going to cut to Ernest as Auntie Nelda, or we're going to cut to Ernest as the drill sergeant and just kind of have it unexplained. Was that not really the case earlier on?
Not as much as they did it in Scared Stupid. Okay. Like they would cut to him being like 6 different characters in a row.
Yes. Yeah, I remember that pretty specifically.
But they get Santa Claus out. Harmony still doesn't buy that he's Santa Claus, even though Santa knows her real name and everything about her.
Yeah. She's in denial.
I mean,
he specifically says, oh, Pamela's always been that way since the Christmas I gave her a doll instead of I think it's a baseball mitt.
Mm-hmm. Because she's a tomboy.
Yeah.
Ernest, though, he's psyched as hell. Now, Santa explains that he's been Santa for at least 100 years, and he needs to name Joe his successor by 7 p.m. tonight so that he can make the delivery run. It has to start at 7 on Christmas Eve, Florida time. Otherwise, he's not going to make it. So they need to find Joe. They need to find out where he is right now. So to do that, Ernest goes undercover, Big Mama style, as Marty the agent's mother. And what I like is, he's wearing a fat suit, and that's always kind of a bummer. And it's comedy drag, which is obviously kind of complicated. I do like that he took the extra time to put her in a neck brace. I think that specific character detail makes this character very good.
So this is Auntie Nelda. I'm a fan of Auntie Nelda, despite some of the questionable aspects of it. It's just from my childhood. Very specifically, I remember from Scared Stupid, like, a woman's work is never done, is just like stuck in my brain. And so Auntie Nelda is a very comforting character to me, for better or for
She's
worse.
a great character.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was hoping to see more of Auntie Nelda in Ernest's family album, but I don't think she made it.
Yeah, I assumed she would be there, but must not. Crazy.
So while he's undercover, he gets the details from Marty's secretary. It turns out that Joe is down at the local film studio. Makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
So Santa and Ernest leave Harmony at home to guard the sack, while Ernest sneaks Santa onto set in the guise of a snake handler. Not a religious snake handler, but a guy that breeds snakes and handles them for films.
A snake farmer.
That character was in the Ernest family album.
Oh, okay.
Oh, interesting.
This is like, if you think Ernest is a Southern hick, this is what Ernest thinks is a Southern hick.
Yeah.
He's great. Keeps on saying, "Don't touch your snakes, they're poison." So Santa watches Joe act in Christmas Sleigh, and his heart is warmed at first, but then he eventually learns that it's a slasher movie and it's Slay, S-L-A-Y. He's very distraught at this, and he actually punches the director in the face, which is a funny thing for Santa to do, but I like it. Shows he's still got passion. Still, Santa offers Joe the gig and asks him if they can meet up later. And Joe's like, yeah. Okay. Meanwhile, Harmony has been messing with the sack. She grabs some velvet, some red velvet that she pulled out of it at some point, a skein of fabric, and she makes a fake sack. And when Ernest and Santa come back to pick up the real sack, she does the old switcheroo. When Santa swings by Joe's place with a switched out sack, he ends up kind of looking like an asshole. And Joe's like, "Your magic sack is fake." And he's like, "I know it's not the real sack." Ah.
That was an interesting response, because it's like you can see he picks up the sack, he kind of knows it, but Ernest is driving away. And it's like, he must know. It's like he does, and he realizes that he can't do anything about it now, and he's got to go in there. So it's so weird to see Santa just be like, "Well, this sucks, but here we go."
Yeah,
he's like doing that the entire movie.
And he had also told Ernest, he was like, "You've got to trust people," about Harmony specifically. So the moment of Santa realizing, "Oh, wait a minute, I misjudged this
this person,
little girl." Well,
yeah. And once again, this guy's acting chops show through that. When he says, "I know it's empty," it is sort of like the saddest moment in the movie.
Yeah.
And he's also very sad Joe has shaved his beard that he had, and he's seeming to be much less interested in becoming Santa Claus at this point. Meanwhile, Harmony buys a train ticket for Miami, looking to skip town with a magic sack. The next train leaves at 6:40 p.m. In good news, Ernest shows up at the airport to grab the reindeers from Chuck and Bobby. Chuck and Bobby have been keeping an eye on the magic flying reindeers this entire time. That's what we've been coming back to them doing this entire B plot. Every time it's been great.
Yeah. It's a lot of them like watching reindeer go to the ceiling and then just kind of being like, well, I don't know what to do. Do you know what to do? And it feels oddly real.
Yeah. At this point, we have, I think, my favorite exchange in the movie, which is Ernest asking Chuck, do you believe in Santa Claus? And Chuck just saying with a chuckle, somehow I knew this question would come up. And then they cut away. But then a couple of elves have come in and landed in Orlando. They're here to help. They show up to claim the reindeer. Boom. The reindeer are out of hock. Unfortunately, on the way out, Ernest drives the box truck that they are carrying the reindeer in over a spike strip, flattening the tires.
This is a sad moment, too, where Ernest is just like, I did what I always do, and I messed it up. And it's just like, yeah, sorry, man. You were trying,
you
though.
do
Your
mess
heart's
a lot
right,
of things up.
You do. You did rip that electrical wiring out of the wall and destroyed a man's home.
Yeah.
But that was fun.
Yeah. And it's a real low point for Santa. He doesn't have a sack. He doesn't have a replacement. He doesn't even have his own sleigh and reindeer, so he can go out there and do it himself. It's looking like Christmas is ruined, possibly forever.
Yes, because if he doesn't make the switch by 7, none of us get Christmas ever again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which
I mean, certainly
wild.
Santa's magic will just dissipate into the universe.
Yep.
Yeah. Santa is waiting at the museum with the museum curator, hopeful that maybe everyone will show up by 7 o'clock. Maybe things will still come together. He's where he's supposed to be. That's all he can do. Meanwhile, over at the train station, Harmony has been overhearing a family argue about the existence of Santa Claus, and she started feeling guilty for Santa Claus's sack. And she goes and she yells at the older brother for being like, there is to a Santa Claus, and I've got his sack. And the little girl says, if that's Santa's sack, what are you doing with it? And
great moment.
That's, yeah. Harmony's like, that's a fair enough question. So she grabs the sack, slings it over her shoulder, and starts running towards the museum. Back at the airport, Ernest has hooked up the reindeer to the sleigh. He's going to fly everything out to the museum. Luckily, with his experience as a cab driver, there's nothing this man can't drive.
That's right.
Unfortunately, the reindeer have a little too much horsepower for old Ernest, and he starts whipping around the globe with the elves in the back seat. Joe sees them fly by the office window where he's in the middle of contract negotiations and announces to everyone assembled, I'm him, before racing off to the museum. He arrives at the museum at 6:57 p.m. Santa passes on the Santa powers to Joe, which instantly changes him into a classic iconic Santa. Ernest and the elves plummet down to Orlando from near-Earth orbit, almost crashing into the ground before we get a classic air brakes gag in the style of Bugs Bunny.
And it's like, that's the trailer moment. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, when it was coming up, I was like, they're going to do that. They're going to do the trailer joke. They're going to do the trailer joke. Yeah. Here it comes.
It's a classic visual gag. And, you know, they say the good ones borrow and the great ones steal. If you're going to steal from anybody, stealing from Looney Tunes is a smart play.
And I just want to take this moment to mention, after he's like air brakes, he does this classic like Ernest laugh, which is like, and it just tickles me. It just tickles me.
Yeah, all the sort of Ernest signature moves and catchphrases are all really good. There's a reason why he keeps doing all of them in every movie. When he goes like, yeah, that's a classic in everyone.
Face pressed against the glass.
Yeah, he's really good at getting pressed against the glass.
I'm not in good voice right now, but the pompous voice that he does is really good too.
Yeah. Ernest P-World, the savior of the Christmas. Like that kind of vibe.
Here we go.
So Harmony says she's going to go back to Indiana. and Joe is ready for his initial Christmas as Santa Claus. But first he asks the old Santa if he's allowed to have a driver just this once. And also a bonus elf. And indeed, Santa's like, okay, I'll allow it. And also, I'm just some guy now, so you can do whatever you want. So Ernest and Harmony both hop aboard the sled with Ernest at the reins, and they take off to deliver presents on Christmas Eve, leaving Santa to fall in love with the elderly museum curator, which was just such a nice,
wonderful. Yes.
Yeah. And it's also really nice because he's like, well, my name used to be Seth so-and-so, so I guess that's who I am. And it was just like, this is really cute, actually. This is really nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's nice to know that Santa is still going to have something nice going on for him, too. And then we get one last little cutaway gag back to Chuck and Bobby. This time, they get a big box, and it's from the Easter Bunny. Get ready, Ernest is about to save Easter.
What?
Roll credits, final thoughts, 5-star ratings. Anna, why don't you kick us off? In terms of watchability and weirdness, what do you think about Ernest Saves Christmas?
Oh gosh, I would give this I might give this a 5 stars for watchability. I just thought it was very much like an actual family-friendly Christmas movie that is good and funny and, had a couple of heart-touching moments, but wasn't,
wasn't mawkish.
I loved it. Weirdness, I would say lower, more like a 2.
Okay.
Just because Ernest shenanigans and the persona do have precedence, in like what you said, Bugs Bunny. And, I haven't actually watched a lot of Jerry Lewis, but I think there's some of that in the facial
the rubber
expressions
face
again.
Yeah.
I forgot the word for facial expressions again. That's very interesting. I should write that down.
Use it 3 times in a sentence and it'll be yours forever. So you just need one more. I gave it a 4.5 in watchability. I thought it was sort of a perfect use of Ernest and fun for the whole family. Obviously, Ernest isn't going to be everyone's cup of tea. But, if you think you might like this, give it a chance. I can almost guarantee that you will. In terms of weirdness, I gave it a 3. I think it has both the sort of mild weirdness that you find in all Ernest movies and the mild weirdness that you find in all Santa movies. Like last week we were talking about expanding the Santa canon. It's interesting how this one fills in the Santa canon. We've got a replaceable Santa. There's no Mrs. Santa. There's no Rudolph. So we see a little bit of that systemization, which I always think is fun in a Santa Claus movie. So you've got a little bit of that weirdness, but it's almost sort of like a chocolate and peanut butter of weirdness where the two of them sort of make each other seem more normal and tone it down. And it's like, it all makes sense of a piece. Santa Claus and Ernest are a great duo.
I agree.
Greg, tell me, where did you land? This was your pick.
Yeah, so for me, it's a 5, but I think for everybody else, I'm going to call it a 4.5 just because it's Ernest, and there are definitely people that are going to bounce off that concept, and I can't argue against that.
Yeah.
And it's a family movie, which sometimes people are just like, I just can't do it. I get it. But I mean, it's going to be a 4. It's a 4.5 or a 5, depending if you're going to watch it, or maybe it's a 0. So maybe I should just keep it a 5. Anyway, I'm going to move on. But I do think that I was actually revisiting it. I was genuinely surprised. It felt a lot more competent and smarter than I remember it being, frankly. And it is a little weird with how they keep, it's just like one joke from these people, one joke from these people, one joke from these people, one joke. That's a little strange, but at the same time, it keeps up the energy. It's balanced pretty well. It never really gets too boring or anything. It's like generally like it goes at a nice clip, real entertaining, I think. Even like the fact that it's an Ernest movie, he's just in the right amount, I feel like. You get a good helping of him, but you're not like, oh boy. So, but as far as weirdness goes, I think I'm going to go 3 just because Ernest, once you are accustomed to Ernest, it's not that weird, like you expect it, but until you're accustomed to it, I think it's pretty strange. And then you've also got the like Santa being more like the whole morality of Santa and him just being like, listen, like literally we're going to lose Christmas if we don't get this stuff done by 7, and modern society's kind of messing this up for us. It's like, this is a strange angle. Santa goes to jail, which is something you don't typically see,
No.
So there's some weirdness in here. So I'm going to say 5 for watchability, 3 for weird.
I think you're spot on. And I think it's time for us to move on to Act 3 of the show, where we're going to build our own cinematic universe.
Yes.
This movie was really cool. It had a lot of cool ideas. This rich setting would really work for a cinematic universe. That would be really cool. Dude, a cinematic universe. A cinematic universe. Cinematic universe. A cinematic universe.
That's right. There's already an Ernest cinematic universe, but we thought we'd try our hands at it.
Yeah.
Who wants to start? Anybody want to start?
I mean, I
will
can.
start.
All right.
Anna, why don't you start?
Okay. I will say that both of you had called your titles relatively early on, and I had not, and I didn't have an idea as of like yesterday morning and was nervous about it. So I want to really shout out taking a shower for the ideas.
That makes sense, actually.
Yeah,
for sure.
And it is, I guess it is water themed, so that makes sense.
If it turns out to be Ernest uses shampoo, I'll be upset.
No, it's Ernest goes fishing, and that's an apostrophe. Yes.
Perfect.
It's a beautiful summer day, and Ernest is off to the old fishing hole. And there's, some initial shenanigans as he's packing up. He probably has his own special bait and his own special fishing rod that he's going to tell you about, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes down to the fishing hole. This particular one is home to General Ironsides, who's a legendary gigantic catfish. Said to be 100 years old. And General Ironsides, it not only swallows Ernest's hook, it swallows him too.
What?
Yes. Then I'm seeing like a solid, like at least 30 minutes of this movie takes place inside the fish. There's a whole, it's bigger on the inside. It's got a whole like setup there, and there's other swallowed characters. There's a gloomy old pirate and a talking dolphin and like a sexy half lobster lady, I think.
Yes. Half lobster.
Anyway,
I love this.
yes, and Eventually, he explores the fish, keeps getting lost in its guts, but he's finding all kinds of detritus that it swallowed over the years. And eventually he realizes that General Ironsides is that it's almost literal, that the fish actually swallowed an iron pot-bellied stove long ago. Um and he also finds a CB radio. He connects that
Okay.
CB radio to the whiskers of the catfish to extend its range, and radios for help. And they rescue
Yes.
him because of the stove in the fish with a giant magnet on a crane, and pull the fish
Okay.
up out of the water. And Ernest and a whole bunch of other stuff come out of its mouth. And this is a big old puppet, just a very big
Yeah.
puppet.
Yeah.
And it's hanging there looking morose, and Ernest makes eye contact with it and then makes an aw shucks face, and they let him go.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love this
That
picture.
sounds fantastic.
Instant green light. Well, I'll go next. We'll save Greg for last since
All right.
he's our movie picker this week. I went for Ernest versus Vern.
I love this
Ooh.
concept.
Yes. We open on Ernest complaining to camera about a blind date last night that went poorly. And this is obviously, it's from Vern's POV. Then we zoom out, and for the first time ever, we see Vern, and he's played by a young Bruce Campbell.
Oh.
Ooh.
Perfect
Okay.
to match Varney's physicality and energy, but still being able to provide a distinct character that can be just as large, just as funny. I think these two would be a slam dunk together.
I agree.
So Vern tells Ernest that he doesn't have time for this nonsense, and he has to finish cleaning his house because his sister Verna is coming to stay with them for a week, and she's arriving any minute. And indeed, she does arrive, and she's played by Holly Hunter.
Nice.
Okay.
And yeah, Verna is traveling through town because she's a traveling nurse, and she has an assignment down in Miami that she has to go to in a week, something like that. And she has a week to spare, so she's going to visit her brother Vern. So much to Vern's chagrin, Verna quickly warms to Ernest's goofy charms as he helps unload her luggage. He invites her to join him at the high school football game that night for a taste of small town living. And Verna agrees, and Vern invites himself along. Vern pulls Ernest aside and explains that his family is very traditional and it wouldn't do for a sister to be seen in the company of a single man unescorted. And while they're on dates, you see Ernest pulling that sort of like upper crust voice that Ernest does a lot. Like, oh, let me get your chair for you, madam. Like doing stuff like that. But he's very nice and very goofy. And Verna seems to genuinely think like, oh, this is just a fun guy for me to be spending a week with, From there, we get a series of dates where Vern either embarrasses or injures himself due to the sort of chaos that follows Ernest around. He gets hit in the nuts with a golf ball at mini golf. He gets set on fire by some flambéed bananas Foster at a restaurant, things like that. Eventually, Verna tells Vern to stop butting in on the dates and announces that she and Ernest will be going on their last date before she has to leave alone. Vern is not invited. The final date is a hike through the nearby woods. Vern can't stop thinking about them together, though. We get maybe a little montage of them like smooching and like Bruce Campbell tugging his hair. So he follows them at a distance. And when they sit down to eat, Vern pulls out a peanut butter, banana, and honey sandwich, which he brought, which lures a nearby bear.
Nice.
Uh-oh.
Soon, Verna and Ernest see Vern sprinting past them, yelling, bear, bear, bear. And they all run into a small cave where the bear can't follow, but it doesn't leave. They're trapped in the cave. So Ernest steps up to lure the bear away. And when it tries to follow him over a downed tree that's laving over like a river, the tree breaks and the bear falls in and is swept away by the river's current. Reunited, Vern gives Ernest a kiss for bravery, and Vern begrudgingly admits that Ernest has earned his respect. That night, though, Verna tells Ernest that it's time for her to be moving on. And Ernest accepts this with, a sort of reasonable, he knew what this was. He knew they would just be hanging out for a week. It's like, it was lovely to be able to spend time with you, Verna, and I hope that you have look me up if you're ever back around this way. As Vern and Ernest wave goodbye to Verna, and she drives off into the sunset, Vern tells Ernest that he hopes he isn't too heartbroken by Verna's love him and leave him ways. And Ernest says, nah, I don't think I'll miss her all that much. She talks in her sleep, know what I mean? Roll credits.
Fantastic. For mine, I know that this existed and I saw like a little brief description of it, but it's just like, it's the first thing that I thought of immediately. And it's just Ernest Goes to Space. I mean, it just feels, it's right there. It's right there. So this is I have like a 3-act structure kind of built up here. So basically what it is there's a group of kids that have somehow, they're going to be taken up to the ISS. They get to go. It's very exciting for these 7 kids or whatever they are. They have 2 chaperones, but they get to pick in their school. They get to pick their 3rd chaperone that they want to bring with them. And all the kids pick the janitor Ernest because they love the guy. And the school is just like, ooh, I don't know if this is it. But they're like, well, what can we do? The kids want, So then in the first act, we get Ernest going through space camp. Where he's got the centripetal thing and going through all that. Sure, we'll have the military guy talk about space suits and rockets and things like this. There's plenty of opportunity. I want to see Auntie Nelda there,
Yes.
Going through it all. Then they get up into space where Ernest is now dealing with like the toilet. I want to see Ernest try to drink a liquid.
Yes.
I want to see Ernest go on a spacewalk. And then in the 3rd act, something happens where it's like Ernest is like locked in the capsule and he's the only one that can man it. And we have characters that somebody has to help him. And they're the characters we've been seeing the whole time, which is Chuck and Bobby down at ground control.
Okay, perfect.
And so they're on the other end. And Bobby, what are the retrograde thrusters at? And just like this kind of thing. And eventually, he's of course able to get everything sorted through his own earnest ways and get everybody back on the ground. And everybody's just really happy that Ernest not only went to space, but he also saved the ISS.
Wow. What a tale. I love it.
Those were 3 absolute bangers.
I'm upset they don't exist, frankly.
Yeah, I would watch any of those immediately after we finish recording. I think the only remaining Ernest movie that I might watch is Slam Dunk. I'm going to skip Army and Africa, probably.
I think you're probably fine.
Those would just be depressing.
Yes.
No. Instead, how about we play a little game?
Yeah.
I love games.
Yes. We're going to play When's Going On?
And I say, hey, yeah. I said, hey, when's going on? And I said, hey, yeah. I said, hey, when's going on?
That's right. We got a little When's going on. We're doing it with the films of Billy Bird, who played Mary Morrissey, the museum curator.
Okay.
Hooray.
Listeners might know her from roles in 16 Candles, Home Alone, or Police Academy 4, Citizens on Patrol.
Oh.
None of those will be questions in this. She was active from 1921 to 1997. That's our range. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a title and a description. Yeah, real good innings. So I'm going to give you a title and a description of a film. And I want you to guess a year. If you get it within 5 years, you get 1 point. Within 1 year, either direction, 2 points. If you get it right on the button, you get 3 points. Everybody ready?
Yes.
Yep.
Question number 1. Las Vegas hillbillies. A hillbilly hits the big time in Las Vegas. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Greg, when do you think that one came out?
Oh,
So this is
Yeah, both of you guys will answer. But Anna, if you got an answer first.
yeah. If you want to go, Anna, go for it. Go for it.
1967.
Okay. Greg, what do
Yeah.
you think?
I'm gonna say 73, just as a counterpoint.
All right. Anna gets 2 points. That was 1966.
Wow. Good call.
Nice. There was a real vogue for hillbillies.
Yeah, I was trying to figure
In
out when
the
that would have been.
Mid to mid 60s.
Question number 2. I just saw the trailer for this one the other day for the first time. Rat Boy. Several shady and shallow people try to profit one after another from a physically deformed teenager whose face looks like the snout of a rodent and who lives hidden in a city garbage dump, alone and miserable. When did
Wow.
Rat Boy come out?
Eesh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 85.
Okay, Anna.
It was a viscerally unpleasant trailer. I'm going to say
Rat Boy looks very
95.
gross.
Yeah.
95?
Mhm.
All right. Greg gets 2 points. That was 1986.
Okay.
All tied up. Question number 3. Getting straight. A Vietnam vet and former social radical is conflicted by his desire to become a teacher and his sympathy with the anti-establishment student protests. He was played by Elliot Gould.
Oh.
When do you think Getting Straight came out?
1980.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 77.
Sorry, guys. That was 1970. No points.
Okay.
Question number 4. That's Adequate.
Wow. Love the title.
Yeah. It's a fake documentary about a fictional Hollywood film studio. So I imagine like a That's Entertainment.
Oh, okay.
So when did That's Adequate come out?
1965.
Okay.
1952.
1989.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's weird.
Yeah, I bet this movie is weird. Question number 5. Teens Arthur and Janet find their lives turned upside down when Janet gets pregnant, and they turn to a back alley abortionist for help.
What's the name of the movie?
Blue Denim.
Blue Denim. Wow. 84?
Okay. Anna?
71.
This was 1959.
Oh.
Wow. A little ahead of its time, maybe.
Maybe, but also 1 year later, she was in the movie Too Soon to Love, which was also about teen abortion. It might have just been a hot topic in the late 50s.
Might have been, yeah.
Question number 6. The Lemon Drop Kid.
Ooh.
A New York City swindler has until Christmas to come up with the $10,000 he owes a gangster, prompting him to go into scamming overdrive. When did The Lemon Drop Kid come out?
1975?
1948.
All right, Anna gets a point. That was 1951.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. The next 3, we got some chances to put some big points on the board.
Okay. This is exciting.
Question number 7. Dennis the Menace.
Oh.
Ooh.
When his parents go out of town on business, Dennis stays with Mr. and Mrs. Wilson. He drives Mr. Wilson crazy, but he's just trying to be helpful, even to the thief who has just arrived in town. When did Dennis the Menace come out?
1995.
Okay. Anna?
Trivia note. Janice the Menace is traditionally supposed to take place in Wichita.
Oh,
I don't know this one though. 1990.
All right, you both get a point. That was 1993.
okay.
Very close. Anna's still in the lead by 1 point. Question number 8. Rhubarb. A rich eccentric dies and bequeaths his entire fortune and his professional baseball team to his pet cat, Rhubarb.
What?
It happened.
Yeah.
And when do you think
Rules.
Rhubarb came out? It does.
57?
Okay. Greg, what do you think?
87.
1951. No
Okay.
points. Last question. Jury duty. A jobless loser is sequestered to be a juror for the murder trial of an alleged serial killer. He does everything he can to prolong the trial to take advantage of the free room and board. When did Pauly Shore's jury duty?
Oh, okay, Greg.
Greg.
1998.
1998. Anna?
91.
You both get 1 point. That was 1995.
Okay.
Split the diff. Anna, you are our big winner this week. Congratulations, my dove.
Hey.
Congrats, Anna.
Well
Thank
fought.
you.
Uh-oh, it's the Batty Awards. Now you're messing with
The Batty Award.
Now you're messing with the Batty Awards. Now you're messing with
The Batty Award.
Now you're messing with the Batty Awards.
Congratulations to all the nominees.
That's right. Congratulations to all our nominees. It's the Batty Awards. The only awards that we give out. Anna, why don't you kick us off? What's your Batty Award?
I'm gonna give it to an element of Harmony's costuming. That is an 80s, late 80s fashion that I had not thought about in many years, which is layering two pairs of different colored slouch socks, and so that your slouch, a slouch sock, children and adults, is just a sock that had a decorative part on the top that was designed to, like, it was gathered so you would slouch it down so that you'd have a gathered cuff, and you put on two different pairs of socks. Hers are orange and yellow, and slouch them both down so you'd have a double cuff on your and I didn't quite check, like, hers might be layered like opposite on both feet, you know, so one has yellow on top and one has orange, but I didn't quite catch that. But
nice.
That's my Batty Award.
Yeah, nice.
I love it. I'm going to give my Batty Award to one specific line that Santa Claus had that really made me learn something about myself.
Oh.
Which is when Harmony hopped into the cab and Santa Claus said, "That's Ernest, and I'm Santa Claus." And I was like, "Ernest?" I did not know that I'd be more excited to meet Ernest had I gotten in the cab with the two of them. But that was my gut instinct the second that happened.
Wonderful.
Greg, do you have a Batty Award?
I do. My Batty Award is going to go to the other, much more subtle brake joke that's in the film. When they're like the sleigh starts plummeting, Ernest grabs the handle thing for the brake and literally rips it out, and you can see the elves just be like, "Oh," and shake their heads in the back. But then, like, kind of quietly, you just see Ernest then like try to squeeze the brake and see if that will still work, despite the fact that it's not attached to anything. It's just a really quiet moment that kind of happens that you may not notice, but it just killed me when I saw it. So shout out to the other brake joke.
Shout out to the other brake joke. Shout out to you, Greg, for choosing such a fun movie and getting me to finally take the plunge into the world of Ernest.
Yes.
It's been more rewarding than I could have imagined, by which I mean I found most movies to be not bad.
Yeah, which I'm shocked by.
You know, been totally remiss in mentioning this, but like Jim Varney, very hot.
I remember somebody on a prior podcast mentioned that, and I like had to Google it, and then I saw like older photos. I was like, I guess when he's not trying to look like a silly,
he's making a silly face.
Yeah, he looks like
when
a
he's
normal
not
person.
contorting himself. Yeah,
yeah,
it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
Well, listeners, we hope that you enjoyed this second in our Christmas marathon. Next week, it's going to be Anna's pick, Dear Santa, not the one with Jack Black, but the one directed by Jason Priestley.
Yes, I will. This one, despite being called Dear Santa, does not have Santa in it.
I'm so excited.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
Santa haters will be feasting. You don't want to miss it. Meanwhile, you got your phone in your hands. Give us that like and subscribe. Find us on Instagram. Find us on Blue Sky. Come join our Discord. We're watching all of these movies all through December. And it's just a ton of fun. And until next week, be good. Goodbye.
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 Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel, fa la 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 la. Troll the ancient Yuletide carol, fa la 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 la.